My wife had a miscarriage, and this was already the second child we'd lost. At first, I thought it was just an accident, until I discovered my wife's diary. Inside were records of my mother's care for her. 1. Back in the hospital room, I saw my mother chatting and laughing loudly with other patients. When she noticed me and my wife entering, without even moving, she exclaimed, "I knew all along this child wouldn't make it. Look, wasn't I right?" The room was crowded, and I didn't want to make a scene or embarrass my wife further. I just wanted her to stop talking. "Mom, stop it. Let's talk at home." But she clearly had no sense of shame, pointing at my wife and shouting, "We've supported you all these years. Tell me, what other women do easily costs us hundreds of thousands of dollars with you, and still nothing? Either give us a child or stop taking up space doing nothing." My wife lay on the hospital bed, silent with her eyes closed, but I saw tears streaming ceaselessly from the corners of her eyes. I pulled my mother aside and whispered, "Mom, Chloe is already suffering enough. Besides, this isn't even Chloe's fault. Please keep quiet." The other people in the ward overheard this and began murmuring among themselves, "It's not easy being old these days. Elderly folks just want to hold their grandchild. Without that hope, what's the point of living?" Exactly. Young people today just don't understand an old person's heart. And some young women nowadays don't take care of themselves when they're young, then conceiving becomes difficult later. My mother's emotions erupted again after hearing these comments. Absolutely right. We spend so much money only to bring home a hen that can't lay eggs, and now our useless son. What's the point in living like this? As my mother spoke, tears and mucus mingled as she suddenly burst into weeping. Seeing this scene, my wife struggled to sit up from her hospital bed and began apologizing to my mother. "Mom, I'm sorry. I didn't expect my wife to apologize." Seeing her apology, the old woman became even more agitated. She stood up, rushed to the windowsill, and began shouting loudly, "I don't want to live anymore. I'll never hold a grandchild in my arms. Why is my life so miserable?" People in the hospital room chimed in, "What bad luck to have such a daughter-in-law." I felt a fire rising from my gut. Looking at my weeping wife on the hospital bed, then at this mother causing a reckless scene, I shouted at her, "If you want to jump, then jump. Stop putting on this act here. I've had enough. And everyone else in this room, our family affairs are none of your business. Shut your mouths." My wife on the sickbed, my mother on the windowsill, and a room full of people all turned their eyes toward me in unison. My wife tugged at my sleeve, and I gestured for her to stay quiet. She's endured too much hardship all these years. Seeing this scene, the old woman probably felt her dignity was wounded. Or perhaps it was her genuine impulse. With startling agility, she leapt down from the windowsill, rushed to my wife's sickbed, grasped her hand and shouted, "If I'm going to die, I won't die alone. This scourge must die with me." 2. My wife had just undergone surgery and was still in a weakened state. With that tug, half of my wife's body slid off the bed. She moaned in pain, weeping as she pleaded, "I'm sorry, Mom. I truly never thought I'd fall down the stairs. I really was being careful. And I just didn't want you to work so hard. I only wanted to help with some chores. Mom, I never meant for this to happen. Please, forgive me." Hearing this, the old woman stopped what she was doing. She wiped her tears with the corner of her sleeve, instantly rearranging her expression. "Tell me yourself, how has our Muller family treated you these past few years?" "He's been very good to me, Mom. Ethan has done his utmost for me." The old woman's face instantly darkened. "What? You're saying I haven't done my utmost for you?" "Ha!" the wife said timidly, "You have. Mom, then that settles it. We've supported you without you needing to work these years. Also, you could give our family an heir. If you can't even do that, then what use is keeping you in our family?" Actually, my wife has her own career too, and she's been exceptionally successful in it. Originally, we weren't planning to have a child so soon, as we were both at a critical stage in our career development. Especially for my wife, her company even offered her an all-expenses-paid opportunity to further her studies in Europe. Upon her return, she was practically a shoo-in for the position of financial director. But just at this time, my mother started pressuring us daily to have a child, using every possible means to threaten us. In the end, my wife reluctantly gave in. At first, we gave up the opportunity to go to Europe to focus on preparing for pregnancy, but we lost the first 2 children late in the pregnancy. My wife quit her job without telling me, choosing to stay home and concentrate on getting pregnant. I knew how important her career was to her, and how much she had sacrificed for me, so I've been extremely caring towards her all these years. Moreover, her parents' family is quite well off and they have financially supported us a great deal over these years. The elderly woman showed no sign of stopping. "Frankly speaking, you should just let go of our family. You're nothing but a jinx. If you can't bear children, hurry up and divorce my son. Since you're the one at fault, you should leave with nothing." My wife sobbed softly beside me, saying, "Mom, Ethan and I have a very good relationship. I can't get a divorce. Who calls the shots in this family, you or me? I honestly couldn't take it anymore. Mom, in this matter, Chloe has the final say. She's the only wife I'll ever have in this lifetime." As I spoke, I grabbed the old lady and barely managed to drag her outside. Through gritted teeth, I told her, go home now. Don't think I don't know all the things you've done over the years. You know damn well how we lost that child. 3. Upon hearing my words, the old woman's face suddenly darkened, as if she wanted to say something but stopped herself. She finally threw out a sentence. What nonsense are you spouting? I don't understand. Then she stopped making a scene and hurried away. Upon returning to the ward and pushing open the door, I saw a large pool of blood beside my wife's bed. I rushed over and pulled back the covers. There was a fruit knife in my wife's hand. I was dumbfounded. She was actually preparing to leave this world and abandon me. Nurse, nurse. A crowd pushed my wife back into the operating room once more. Truth be told, the words I'd spoken to my mother at the door earlier were mere suspicion, something I'd questioned all these years without proof. Yet the evasiveness in her words and expression just now had almost convinced me this was the truth. Actually, this isn't our first child with my wife. As early as 3 years ago, during her first pregnancy, we learned our baby's gender through tests. Since both my wife and I preferred having a daughter, the moment we knew it was a girl, I could already picture that sweet-voiced little girl calling me daddy. With my busy work schedule making it hard to fully care for them, just before the baby was due, I brought my mother from our hometown to live with us and help look after my wife. Before leaving, the old lady told everyone in town that she was going to the city to take care of her eldest grandson. On the bus, I smiled and said to her, Mom, Chloe and I checked, the baby is a girl, a granddaughter, not a grandson. The old lady's face instantly fell. What? Then why did you drag me here? Useless. At the time, I was too overjoyed to notice, brushing it off as her joking, and coaxed her along with a few words. The old lady didn't say anything more after that. Looking back carefully now, perhaps she did it on purpose at that time. After arriving home, she and my wife initially got along quite well. At least when I was home, there wasn't much communication between them, but neither were there any major conflicts. However, as the due date drew nearer, my wife started complaining to me more frequently. Sometimes my wife would text me while I'm at work. Ethan, Mom has been feeding me oatmeal for days. It's nutritious, but I'm still a bit hungry. Could you take me out for something tasty tonight? Ethan, I'm feeling a bit drowsy at home. Can you come back early and take me out for a walk? Ethan, I know you're busy with work, but Mom and I are doing fine at home. Don't worry about us. Ethan, why don't we go to the hospital earlier? I'm a bit worried, but don't overthink it. Mom's been taking good care of me, but my work really leaves me stretched too thin. To avoid waking her when I get home, I always sleep in the study. So whenever she asked me to have dinner with her, I just ordered takeout of her favorite dishes to be delivered home. Her saying she was worried, I clearly remember in that moment I only registered the second half of her sentence. I felt completely at ease knowing my mother was at home taking care of her. Moreover, I realized the old lady truly had sharp words but a soft heart. She'd make a wonderful grandmother. Later, my wife would occasionally call me repeatedly during meetings. Whenever I missed her calls and called back, she'd always answer with a gentle laugh saying it was nothing. I simply assumed she missed me and didn't think much of it. So, in the end, I also missed the most important phone call because of work. When I called back again, it was the nurse who answered. My wife was already at the hospital. I rushed to the hospital in a panic. The moment the nurse broke the news that we'd lost the baby, I felt my heart stop. The mother in the hospital was a little anxious, repeatedly asking if she could still get pregnant again in the future. I didn't think too much about it, assuming the elderly woman might genuinely be concerned about my wife's health. As for why we lost the child, my wife didn't elaborate. She just kept repeating in my arms, it's not Mom's fault, it's my own carelessness, I wasn't paying attention when walking and fell down the stairs. Of course I didn't blame her, comforting her over and over again. After that, my wife and mother spoke very little to each other. I assumed it was because my wife was grieving too deeply after losing the child. I often comforted my mother, telling her not to take it to heart and to show more care for my wife when possible. Now that I recall these events, along with my mother's guarded attitude outside the hospital just moments ago, my suspicions deepen further. A sudden memory flashed through my mind, something my wife had once said. Before entering the delivery room to give birth this time, she had asked me, Ethan, in your heart, who matters more, me and our child, or your mother? I chuckled and asked her how such a sharp and capable woman could ask such a silly question. She smiled and said, Mom genuinely doesn't like girls. For some reason, I detected a trace of bitterness in her smile afterward, but as the due date approached, I could only comfort her, telling her not to overthink it. Then I recalled the old lady's words when my wife had just returned to the ward. She knew all along this child wouldn't be born. Suddenly, I felt there was more to this than met the eye. My wife was still in critical care, she must have known something. It suddenly dawned on me that my wife had a habit of keeping a diary. Feeling too agitated to drive safely, I called an Uber and hurried home. Just as I reached for my keys at the door, a cacophony of chattering voices erupted from inside the house, an overwhelming clamor. The loudest laughter belonged to my mother. I told you this child wouldn't last either. What's the use of a girl? Sooner or later she'll belong to someone else's family. Quickly came the chorus of agreement. Exactly. Girls are just money pits. Your son can't make decisions, you have to take charge yourself. These days, young people don't want many children. If the firstborn is a girl, you'll never have a grandson to hold in your lifetime. You did the right thing. That's right. My son is useless, good for nothing. Not a bit like me. That's why a child has to be your own flesh and blood. Someone else's offspring just won't ever take root. To this day, he still sides with his wife, even drove me out of the hospital. I heard everything crystal clear. These last words came straight from my mother's mouth. I'm actually not her biological son? It's like I couldn't hear anything else being said in the room. Now so many things from my childhood finally make sense. No wonder all the good food at home always had to go to my younger brother. No wonder every penny I'd saved from years of working was sent home to fund my brother's education. No wonder my family said they had no money when I got married, yet bought a house for my younger brother who was still in college. No wonder my family didn't contribute a single cent for my wedding. No wonder they've always urged me to find a well-off girlfriend. No wonder my mother disapproved of my wife's looks initially, but immediately approved of our marriage upon learning about her wealthy family background. From the very beginning, I was never truly one of their family. They never treated me as family. The more I thought about it, the more urgently I wanted to uncover what exactly had happened to my wife and our unborn child. Steadying my nerves, I took out the key and unlocked the door to enter. The moment the door swung open, the house instantly returned to complete stillness. "Mom, I'm back to get some things for Chloe's hospital stay." The old woman shot me a look. "Just a miscarriage, is hospitalization really necessary?" So delicate. I suppressed my anger. "Mom, it's my money being spent, don't worry about it. And don't bother bringing meals either." Perhaps feeling slightly guilty about what she just said, the old woman actually didn't say anything more this time, and even offered to introduce me to some neighbors from back home. Without a backward glance, I turned and went straight into the study. It was there, tucked away in my wife's bookcase. I came across my wife's diary. May 3rd, Ethan brought Mom from our hometown to live with us, so she can help take care of me and the baby. I'm a little nervous, worried Mom won't adjust well here, or that our mother-daughter-in-law relationship might be awkward and put Ethan in a tough spot. But it's fine. I'll just treat my mother-in-law like my own mom, that can't go wrong. I hope everything goes smoothly. May 21st, Ethan's younger brother came asking for money again today. He still hasn't repaid the $50,000 that mother secretly had me lend him behind Ethan's back, and now he's borrowing again. If Ethan knew his brother had relapsed into gambling, he'd be furious. I'll wait until after the baby's born to tell him. He's been under so much stress lately. June 7th, mother-in-law has been here for almost a month now. The groceries Ethan and I bought earlier have long been finished. Having endured hard times, she's quite frugal, barely buying fresh vegetables, and we've had oatmeal for several meals in a row. Sigh. When I mentioned it, she insisted oatmeal is the most nutritious and said I was being ungrateful. It does bother me a little, but after all, she's Ethan's mom, no point making a fuss over such small things. I really wish Ethan and I could go out for a proper meal, but he's too busy with work. I wonder if he's even eating properly himself. The takeout he ordered for me ended up being eaten by her, so I'm left with my bowl of oatmeal, feeling a bit down, honestly. June 12th. I wonder if it's because I've been eating too little and too monotonously. Sometimes I feel quite dizzy. All the vegetables and meat Ethan bought were taken by my mother-in-law to cook for her bridge club friends. Those neighbors even smoke inside the house. I really want to go out for some fresh air, but I'm a bit worried about the baby. Ethan is still busy, barely replying to messages. If it comes to it, I'll ask my mother-in-law to accompany me tomorrow. I should also remind Ethan not to worry. June 13th, feeling so sad today. I accidentally fell down. I wanted to go out for a walk, which probably delayed my mother-in-law's bridge game with the neighbors, making her a bit impatient and unhappy. I didn't have much strength and walked slowly. When she pulled me forcefully, I fell. There was a little bleeding, and she blamed me for being careless. I called Ethan many times but he didn't answer, so I had to go to the hospital alone. Thankfully it wasn't serious. I really miss Ethan. June 14th, today I asked a friend to check the baby's gender. It's a girl. Both Ethan and I are so happy, and we're really looking forward to her arrival. June 20th, my mother-in-law's bridge friends can't host at their place recently, so she gathered everyone here. These people smoke and drink in our house, and it really upsets me. On top of that, I have to cook and wash dishes for them. The baby is coming soon, and I don't know if it's just my imagination, but ever since my mother-in-law found out it's a girl, she keeps making me do heavy chores. Today, she made me carry beer upstairs from the ground floor. After just one flight of stairs, my stomach started aching a little. Lately, I've been feeling so exhausted, and I'm a little scared. I want to move into the hospital early. July 1st, writing today's diary at noon because I'm too upset. I really don't want the neighbors to come over anymore, yet I ended up arguing with my mother-in-law again. She said this baby won't make it, that even if it's born, it'll be useless. After pushing me, she even pretended to fall herself. I can't stand anyone speaking badly about my baby, but I didn't fight back either. Sigh. After giving birth, I'll talk to Ethan if things don't improve, we might just need to hire a nanny. 6. At this point, my blood ran cold. July 1st is today. So much had happened before going to the hospital. Turns out the old lady had done so many outrageous things during this time. So this was how we lost the baby. My brother had started gambling again, borrowing money over and over. I felt moisture at the corners of my eyes. My wife had endured so much, and all because of that vile woman outside. My wife is now fighting for her life in the hospital. Her fate hangs in the balance. This isn't over. The one who caused this suffering must pay. Ethan, your brother's calling. Why aren't you picking up your brother's call? A sharp knocking sounded at the door. I had bolted the study door from inside. What's wrong? What is it? At that moment, I couldn't even bring myself to call her mom, feeling nothing but disgust. Open the door quick and take your brother's call. Your wife gets hospitalized and you're losing your damn mind over it. When I opened the door, the old woman barged in furiously. The phone picked up. Bro, is sis-in-law's phone a brick? Why won't she answer my calls? Women just can't handle anything properly. Suppressing the rage in my heart, I wanted to see how this bastard would spin his story about borrowing money. I asked sis-in-law for a loan a while back, and she said she'd transfer it today. Still no sign of it. If she doesn't want to lend it, she should just say so instead of dragging her feet. What do you need the money for? Well, I saw a storefront I wanted to start a business with. Before she could finish speaking, the old lady snatched the phone away and turned to glare at me. How can you both act like this as elder brother and sister-in-law? Why are you asking so many questions when your younger brother wants to borrow some money? Hurry up and transfer it to him. Then she turned back to the phone and said, "It's nothing, sweetheart Kevin. The money will be transferred to you soon. Don't worry. With that, she walked out still holding the phone. To be honest, similar scenes have been playing out constantly over the years, and the old me had already grown accustomed to it. I always thought that as the elder brother, doing more for the family was perfectly normal. Little brother was too young to understand things, so helping him out more was also a way to ease our mother's worries. Now that I know the truth about my origins, and everything that so-called mother did to my wife, none of this should be taken for granted anymore. What was owed to us must now be repaid. Over the years, every property I purchased for our family, big or small, was registered under the old lady's name. This included my brother's apartment as well, which now happens to come in handy. I contacted a loan company and had them come to our home immediately. After showing them the properties under the old lady's name, I had them assess the maximum loan amount, then coaxed her into signing the loan agreement. Hearing that signing would mean her precious youngest son could finally get spending money, the old lady chuckled while putting pen to paper. I don't feel heartbroken about these, because I know none of these properties will ever belong to me in the end. I'm just a money-making tool for their family. After handling these matters, I rushed back to the hospital. My wife was still undergoing emergency treatment. While waiting outside the operating room, I contacted the private investigator our company frequently used and commissioned him to look into my younger brother's affairs, as well as investigate my own origins. They've been handling matters for our company for many years, and I trust their competence. I can't remember how long I sat outside the operating room. The sky had already turned completely dark when the operating room door finally opened. Lucky this happened in a hospital, or she wouldn't have survived. What kind of family doesn't take care of a patient's emotions right after surgery? The nurse's gaze cut through me like a knife. I quickly grasped my wife's cold hand. She still hadn't regained consciousness. Back in the hospital room with my wife, decades of shared memories came flooding back. We've been together since college. My family never gave me pocket money. I always earned it through part-time jobs myself. After getting together with her, I took on multiple jobs just to save face. When she found out, she would secretly slip money into my pocket every time we met. By graduation, it was time to consider marriage. The first time I brought her home, my family didn't offer a penny and immediately asked her to wash the dishes. She said nothing, just silently worked in the kitchen. There was no proper wedding, no honeymoon, even the house was bought by her family. I even arranged to give half of my salary to my family every month, and she never complained. All our friends thought she deserved better, yet she never mentioned it to me. Thinking of this, my eyes grew moist. The hand I was holding began to struggle. I raised my eyes. My wife had woken up. Seeing me cry, she tried to reach out and wipe my tears. "Ethan, don't say anything. I read your diary. Rest easy, I won't let your suffering be in vain." And then there was the phone screen lit up. "Mr. Miller, we've got a lead. Please call me back when convenient." After settling my wife, I stepped outside the hospital room and made the call. "Mr. Miller, go ahead. Let me first tell you about your brother's situation. He's deeply in debt. The principal alone is over $1 million, and with compound interest, it's ballooned to tens of millions. He's already been blacklisted for credit. Most of the money was lost to gambling, and some was spent on children he's supporting outside. Your sister-in-law gave some before, but the hole is too big to fill now. I had already learned about his gambling from my wife's diary. How could there be a child from outside? Your mother must have been eager to have a grandson, so your younger brother kept a mistress on the side, which the old lady tacitly approved. The child is already 4 years old, a boy. TSK, this old lady never rests. The boy has already been sent for a paternity test. We'll inform you immediately once the results are out. Professional matters are best handled by professionals. How thoughtful. There's one more thing, Mr. Miller. It's about your origins. Go on. The woman you know as your mother isn't your biological mother. I know. There's a strong possibility your adoptive mother conspired with other townspeople to abduct you. This outcome was beyond my expectations. Do we have complete evidence? It's being investigated. We'll inform you as soon as we have results. The reason for telling you in advance is so you can be prepared for anything. Alright. Thank you for your hard work. Receiving this information over the phone still left me utterly shocked. After 30 years in this family, it turns out everything was a lie. Take care of my wife first. I really can't focus on anything else while she's in the hospital. There will come a day to settle these accounts. I arranged company matters and stayed at the hospital to care for her properly. Her mental state still isn't great. I know the same boulder weighing on my heart is crushing her too. Just focus on recovering. Everything will get better. Trust me. Ethan, don't do anything foolish. Not to worry. We've got plenty of good living ahead of us. After recovering at the hospital for some time, my wife's condition had improved considerably, and we decided to return home. Even at the door, we could hear the laughter of my mother, younger brother, and sister-in-law. When we pushed the door open, the family was enjoying a lively meal together. Seeing us return, my sister-in-law said without looking up, "Why come back instead of resting properly at the hospital? Sister-in-law's health isn't like ours, far more delicate. Get lost, and keep your husband and his bastard child in line." My sister-in-law froze. She clearly hadn't known about this matter. The old lady and her brother were horrified, shouting at her sister-in-law. "Your sister-in-law just got out of the hospital. How could you say such depressing things? Your elder brother isn't in a good mood. Don't take his words to heart." The old woman turned to me with a playful smirk and said, "Ethan, I know you're feeling down, but you can't just blurt out everything, can you? We shouldn't spread things that have no basis, right? Come on, let's eat." As she spoke, she got up to fetch bowls and chopsticks from the kitchen for us. She's afraid the truth will come out, afraid her precious little son might have his comfortable life upset. No sooner had I taken my seat than the old woman plastered that smile back on her face. "Ethan, listen, Mom has another favor to ask of you. Your younger brother's been in urgent need of money lately and ended up selling his own house. The young couple can't be left without a place to live. How about you transfer ownership of your current apartment to him? After all, running your company makes earning money easier for you. You could recoup the cost of another apartment in no time." Her sister-in-law put on an apologetic smile. "Big brother, that was all my fault earlier. I really have no filter when I speak." As she said this, she even symbolically slapped her own face a few times. I had genuinely underestimated just how shameless this family could be. This apartment was bought by Chloe's family, and the property deed is under Chloe's name. I have no right to dispose of it. Chloe just got out of the hospital. If anyone dares to bring this up with her now, they can get the hell out immediately. The old lady looked awkward, because for so many years I'd always given them whatever they asked for. And as for your precious son's secret family outside, you know exactly how much money I've spent on them over the years. Don't push this too far. When my sister-in-law saw me bringing this up again, I said, "Don't pretend you don't know. It's your husband keeping a mistress outside to get a son. The kid's already 4 years old." With that, I took my wife by the hand and led her to the study, while my sister-in-law shrieked like a shrew. The old lady wailed as if the sky had fallen, and my brother floundered helplessly in the chaos. Another glance at them would turn my stomach. Just then, the doorbell rang, and my phone buzzed with a notification. "Mr. Miller, the paternity test results for the child are in. Your brother is not the father. The report should already be at your doorstep." Perfect timing. Opening the door revealed an envelope, which I picked up and tossed to my sister-in-law without a second thought. "Open it and see. It's good news for you. That bastard child your husband had outside isn't even his." The younger brother snatched the report from his sister-in-law's hands, while the old woman stumbled forward to look. "Hurry and show Mom. What does this mean? Look quickly." The brother's grip on the report turned his fingers blue. I thought to myself, this is just the beginning. 9. Both the younger brother and the old lady fainted. Their psychological endurance is too weak. It's understandable. The child they'd raised with such effort for years turned out to be someone else's. After all the money and effort spent hiding that woman outside, she betrayed him too. After both of them collapsed, the house suddenly fell silent. Only my sister-in-law remained there, dazed and uncertain whether to laugh or cry. I recalled her sarcastic and mocking attitude towards my wife when she first entered. I lamented how quickly karma had struck. I called an ambulance, because this wasn't over yet. There was still much more for them to endure. These people must not be allowed to die. After the ambulance arrived, they were taken away. My sister-in-law boarded the ambulance with them, leaving only me and my wife at home. I held her tightly, while she kept stroking my back over and over. Only the two of us truly understood all we'd sacrificed for this family over the years. Even though my brother and mother sometimes went too far, I never once complained. Only she could understand the bitterness in my heart after all that has happened now. But now is not the time to talk about these things, there's still unfinished business. I contacted the person investigating this matter. We've got results, Mr. Miller. I'm currently compiling the evidence. Is the chain of evidence complete? Relatively complete. Besides you, several other children who were trafficked back then have also been identified. What would you? First, reach out to a few self-media outlets and gossip bloggers, and feed them some fragmented evidence. Understood, Mr. Miller. We'll also arrange some PR maneuvers to minimize the negative impact on the company. Or perhaps, when the scandal breaks, it might not necessarily be a bad thing. The next morning, I had barely opened my eyes when I saw hundreds of missed calls on my phone. I knew the storm had arrived. Opening news sites and Twitter, it was already trending locally. Celebrity entrepreneur Ethan Miller's origins revealed, not biologically his mother's child, suspected to be a victim of illegal adoption by foster mother. When an entrepreneur meets vampire-like family, Ethan Miller's younger brother listed as defaulter due to gambling debts. Miller mother's obsession with having a son leads her to allow younger son to keep a mistress. All properties under Ethan Miller's name actually registered to his mother, already mortgaged to settle younger brother's debts. I clicked on the comments below. Sigh, never thought rich people would have these kinds of troubles too. Any evidence? Let's wait for more facts to come out. Recently saw Mr. Miller's wife at the hospital. A nurse friend rumored it was a baby girl. Could his mother have caused the child to be lost? If it really is kidnapping, that's absolutely vile. They should call the police and have them arrested. Alas, Mr. Miller has truly gone above and beyond. Who would have thought this family could be so detestable? I'm quite satisfied with this outcome. Among the hundreds of missed calls on my phone, most were from my younger brother and the old lady. It seems these two have woken up, and their health remains quite good. After enjoying a delightful breakfast with my wife, I made a call to our contact. The time has come. Hand over the evidence of the old lady's human trafficking to the police. 10. I went to the hospital. The old lady was still in good spirits. When she saw me, she said, "Ethan, you're finally here. You've got to save me, Mom. Don't believe anything they say online." I glanced around at the people in the ward and whispered in her ear, "You know what? I was the one who leaked that information." Upon hearing this, the old lady immediately started cursing, "You bastard. Ungrateful wretch. You'll die a horrible death. You deserve to be childless. I should have pushed your wife. Your whole family deserves to die." I smiled and said, "Mom, I recorded that." The old lady turned pale with shock and dropped to her knees with a thud. I was wrong, Ethan. But it was too late, far too late. After the evidence was handed over to the police, the investigation progressed rapidly. Recent years have seen a severe crackdown on human trafficking crimes. It turns out I was actually taken from my birth parents by my adoptive mother, and we've also located other children she kidnapped back then. Some have reunited with their biological parents and even held press conferences for the reunions. The incident escalated quickly and widely, and soon the police arrested that gang from back then. The adoptive mother turned out to be the gang leader, and now awaits trial in court. My younger brother came to see me once, begging me to plead for leniency in court, appealing to the fact that the old lady had raised me. "How dare you say that? Did this family raise me? Or did I raise all of you?" He tried to hire someone online to smear me, but it was too naive of him. I never respond. The police press conference about finding my relatives is my best proof. The more he smeared me, the more sympathy I gained from netizens. Soon, public opinion overwhelmingly sided with me. Some enthusiastic netizens have already started doxing him online. They uncovered his appearance, his workplace, and the apartment he was renting. The landlord, unable to bear the harassment, kicked him out of the apartment. Whenever he was recognized on the street, people would spit at him. Soon after, my adoptive mother's family and I severed our legal ties. My younger brother failed to repay the bank loan, and the money from his mortgaged house couldn't fill the financial hole either, so he was also sued by the bank. What a pity, he'll be imprisoned before even tasting the full scorn of the masses. Soon, my personal social media account went viral, because inside it lies everything I've recorded and done for this family over all these years. I've finally finished putting my younger brother through college. I bought him an apartment for his wedding. The property was transferred under Mom's name. These posts were feverishly reposted by major media outlets. Soon, everyone realized the rumors circulating earlier were true. Consequently, my personal accounts were flooded with frantic comments. "Mr. Miller, hurry up and get your company to start live streaming sales, we're ready to spend. Ethan, just for your kindness, we'll buy whatever you sell as long as we can afford it. Ethan, keep going. We want to see the world's best sister-in-law, bring her on stream, quick, quick. Let's keep sister-in-law happy, better days are ahead." I'm in no hurry about these matters. I know that with popular support, everything that follows will go smoothly. My wife has recently taken a liking to browsing the internet lately. She often bursts out laughing when reading netizens' comments. "Ethan, thank you. No need for formalities among family." I took her to various places for leisure. Over all these years, I'd done everything for that so-called home, for the company, for fame and gain, yet seldom for her. The days of traveling were joyful. While we were on the road, we received a call from the court, asking if I would appear in court. I tugged at my mother and whispered to her, "Mom, Yin Yan is already feeling terrible, and besides, this isn't her fault. Just shut up." In court, when she saw me, her eyes lit up for a moment. She thought I was there to plead for mercy for her, but instead, I played the recording I had made in the hospital. After being released, she was utterly horrified. This woman was not only suspected of child trafficking but also involved in intentional harm. The elderly woman went completely insane in court, hurling unspeakable insults. It doesn't matter now, the charges of child trafficking plus intentional harm. She'll probably spend the rest of her life in prison. Finally, some peace. I've kept every promise I made to my wife. The days ahead, I'll love her well. The end.